Lumia.
You're Lumia?
Yes, I like to think I am. And today we're gonna be talking about this guy's this Keyblade, this Keyblade of Spirits favorite animes.
What? No, we're talking about my favorite video games.
Oh. Did we schedule the wrong episode? I forgot. Oh no. Oh, well, I guess we're talking about video game animes? Cool.
No, not video game animes, just video games.
Oh. Well, video game it up.
Okay, so last week we did Lumia's 3x3, and she did it in like a really boring way, right? Where she just did her top 9 video games, like in order from number 9 to number 1, bottom right to top left. Literally boring, not at all epic.
Your brain.
I do my 3x3s better. It's like I use my 3x3s not necessarily to show my favorite games, even though all of these are favorites to me. But like, I do my 3x3s specifically to give a good snapshot of my taste in something.
This is how I know you have bad taste.
What do you mean?
There's no Yakuza or Atelier on this list.
I've only just started playing a Yakuza, and I've never played an Atelier.
Exactly. Bad taste.
I don't know. I don't know about that. Anyway.
What key?
Yeah, anyway, and so I've organized this to, like, my number 1 video game is in the center, and leading up to that, I've just got, like, all my other games, and they all kind of lead into the main event.
Ooh, can I guess your favorite game?
Sure.
It's knowing you. It's gotta be Spyro Enter the Dragon.
I mean, I did like that one as a kid, but not quite.
I knew it. Woo!
Yeah.
Genius.
But anyway, shall we get started?
Yes.
Okay. So, first, in my top left corner, I'm starting with my 2 oddball games here.
Wait, why the top left?
Top left because.
Bottom right.
Anyway, top left, Minecraft.
They are millennial.
Yeah, like, this isn't, like, specifically, like, I specifically like this because this is my, like, because of the one world that I've made in Minecraft that is just really good and fun, and I like it a lot. I've spent, like, almost a year in this world building my base and a huge village in it. Like, I've got this gigantic tower that reaches up into the sky. I've gone everywhere, I've done everything, and it's all just so satisfying. I love it. This is... I specifically like my Minecraft world. I don't really care that much about other Minecraft worlds.
What about the PCP Minecraft server?
I tried to get into it, I couldn't.
But I'm paying for your subscription.
Wait, I thought you stopped.
No!
What?
You wound me!
I should play a little bit more in there then.
No, I'm gonna end your subscription. Fuck you.
Okay.
This assault on my life has left me scarred.
Okay, see, I thought you quit being a mod and that you were gonna, like, stop patroning them.
Technically, I'm still a mod.
Oh.
I haven't quit.
Okay.
No one's doing anything on that server. That server's dead. Me and Marin failed. I'm sorry, Nate. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, drama. Anyway, Minecraft is good. It's got a really good, like, a good natural progression system. You know? Like, you don't really have to make progress, but even if you're not trying to, you kind of just end up making progress. Because there's always something that it's... Like, everything that you can do in it, unless you're, like, specifically trying not to make progress. Everything you can possibly do in it just leads into the next thing that you should do. And so you're eventually gonna do the next thing, whether it's your goal or not. You know?
Yeah.
So I like it on that level. But, like I said, these first two, they're my oddball games. Next one...
Minecraft is awesome.
What was that?
Minecraft is awesome, and I've been playing since beta 1.3.
I've been playing since beta 1.5, I think.
How did you get to Minecraft after me?
I don't know. But anyway... Yeah. My next game, kinda similar to Minecraft, is Catherine. I haven't played Full Body. Catherine is like Minecraft because it's got blocks.
Isn't this the game with the trans girl?
Yes, but yes and no at the same time, kind of. She's not explicitly stated to be trans until Full Body. And also, it's weird because, like, Full Body does some bad things with her.
Should I try to platinum Full Body?
I don't know. Like, they said that in the localization they were gonna change it to make it less transphobic.
Okay.
But I don't know about that. I haven't read... Like, spoilers for the original Japanese version. Like, the best... like, the ending that's considered to be the true good ending is specifically that... Or part of it involves time travel stuff... and she never comes out as trans and never transitions. And that's, like, treated as the golden ending, so to speak.
Oh.
So, I don't know if they changed that in the localization. They said they were going to, or at least they said they were going to translate it such that it's less ambiguous if that's a good ending, or something like that. Or that it's more ambiguous whether it's a good ending.
Well, that's good, at least.
Yeah, but it's Atlas, so I don't really have any faith in them. Anyway, Catherine is... It's like everything that I want out of a story-based puzzle game. It's like, specifically, the mechanic of Vincent trying to... moving all these blocks, figuring out all of these techniques to climb his way up to the top of this tower. That... it's... Like, to me, that's a very good metaphor for what he's trying to do in his life. He's just trying to get to the point in his life where he's satisfyingly on top. Not necessarily on the top, but he's trying to, because he's not in a hole. He's at the bottom of a tower in his life. And he kind of digs himself into a hole, but, like, even then, societally speaking, he's in a relatively good position.
So he's in a hole in a tower?
Yes. He's like... I'm talking all metaphorically here.
Huh.
Like, because Vincent is in, like, this nice, comfy programming job. I think he's probably a game developer. He's saving up for a trip to space. So, like, he's not rich enough that he can just go on a trip to space, but he's enough well-to-do that it's like an option for him in the future.
Wait, what fucking year is it when you can just go to space?
I think it takes place in like 2050. Like, it's still very much like our world, but like, it's our current vision of the future, I'd say, where it's not really that different from now. It's just technology has gotten linearly better.
I didn't notice that for the hour I played at the game.
Okay. Yeah, like, it's very subtle. Like, it's meant to be very much like our world.
Huh.
Like, I could do a whole video on how I think it's kind of not so great that we don't have, like, a defined vision of what the future looks like aesthetically anymore. But
when's that coming out?
I don't know. But anyway, that's aside from the point. Vincent is this character who's in a really... like, he's in a privileged position. Like, unambiguously, he's pretty privileged. He's got a good job, he's making good money, and he's on his way to going on a vacation to space. Which is... like, even though it's a thing that civilians can do now, it's still, like, an expensive and impressive thing to do. Like, it's equivalent to going on a cruise. Like, it's not something that normal people do.
I see.
So, anyway, it's a... so, like, you've got that. And then he starts having these weird dreams. Oh, he's also got a girlfriend who is kind of trying to pressure him into marriage. She mainly just kind of wants to get him on the right track. And yeah, she's a good person. Like, both of the Catherines are good people, it seems like. And this whole thing is specifically Vincent, like, this love triangle situation between Vincent and Catherine with a K and Catherine with a C is specifically that Vincent is trying to navigate the way up. You know? Because, like, Catherine with a C is, in my opinion, like, more attractive than Catherine with a K. But Catherine with a K is just a better person for Vincent. And so, both of them would be steps up for him, no matter what he chooses. And so the puzzle mechanic is you've got Vincent moving these blocks around, trying to navigate the way up. And he's always going to be going up unless he fails badly. And so it's just that the path isn't clear. and very much he's moving his life around in order to deal with all of these situations and emotions that occur because of this stuff. So it's engaging on that level. And then just the puzzle solving is just in itself really satisfying. Like, anyone who's listening, I'm going to say the word edge, and you will immediately hear the announcer going, "Edge!" and "New record!" It's just great. Like, it's got all of these little things that improve the game feel to make it so satisfying to just ascend this tower in every single level. And it never gets boring. They add mechanics, and it's just the perfect amount of addition in every level. It's fantastic. It's, like I said, to me, this is the perfect story-driven puzzle game.
What about Tetris?
Tetris is not story-driven.
Someone hasn't played Tetris story mode.
Catherine is the perfect story-driven puzzle game. It's great.
Oh,
play it. Like, even if you don't play Full Body. I haven't played Full Body yet. Like, the original is just excellent. And I think that's all I've got to say on it. Lumia, do you have any thoughts on it based on, like, the first hour that you played?
Moving boxes is fun. And you gave me an idea for a visual novel.
Really?
I'm going to pitch it to you right now. Don't worry. It won't be that off topic.
Okay.
You're Pro Tycoon. That is literally your name.
Okay.
Block-kun is your name. You go to school. What do you find there? All the people you're going to have to date are Tetris blocks.
Oh, no!
And it is your goal to get a Tetris.
Oh, I see. So it's like is a Tetris in this case like four lines, and it's and that's like the perfect harem?
Yes, that is the goal of the game. You go to block high.
I see. Which block are you?
You are none of the blocks. You are you are Soviet. You are a Soviet Russian. Yes.
I see.
That makes sense. And you go to Japanese Kremlin High.
No, it's got to be something like more Japanese, like Nihon no Kremlin.
That. And all the girls are wondering, why is this guy so popular with the coolest kids in town? You know, the blocks.
Yeah.
And they're just attracted. They're attracted to puzzle solvers. So you gotta solve puzzles to get them to fall in love with you.
Okay, are they all Tetris puzzles?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Genius, right?
Yes, absolutely brilliant.
All right, I'll let you know when it's done.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that. I want to play this on my desk next week.
Next week? Yeah, I'm gonna need at least 2 months.
Okay. You got 2 months.
I need a writer. I need to hit up Noni again.
Okay. Anyway, shall we get to my bottom left?
Yes.
Okay, we've gone from top left, Minecraft, to top right, Catherine. Now, bottom left, this is the real shit. Right? Bottom left, Hollow Knight. This is the second game that I've ever given a 10 out of 10.
Wait, this is only the second game you get a 10 out of 10, and this is the third game you're announcing?
Yes. Yes. I've only ever given 2 games a 10 out of 10.
Then why is this not the second to final one?
Because I'm not going in the order of I'm not going in a countdown order. I'm going in a much more autistic order, okay? Okay. Okay, so Hollow Knight. Absolutely brilliant video game. Probably my favorite side-scroller ever. It's just like, it's got my favorite, not my favorite, but like the perfect upgrade system for what it is. Where you've got like these, like you've got all these pins that you can equip. And every single pin does something very unique. Like there's only a few pins that are just a different pin but better, or an older pin but better. You've got that. You've got this. You've got other upgrade systems that don't really matter as much. But all these pins give you some unique thing. Sometimes it's like a special way to move around the world that makes it easier to navigate to the boss or to the end of the level. Sometimes it's like just a straight combat upgrade. Sometimes it's like a little thing that like doesn't seem like it's going to be that big of a deal. Like you just get slightly less knockback from attacks from when you attack, and that's like huge. It turns out, because the range of your nail is so small, and you can combine these in so many different ways, and they're just. And there's all these different, like, synergies that just happen naturally between things. So, on that level, that's already great for creating builds and experimenting with things. The bosses are some of the best, like, 2D Dark Souls-like bosses ever.
Even better than Blasphemous?
I haven't played Blasphemous, but...
That's blasphemous of you.
Oh, well, I don't know if they're better than Blasphemous, but like they seriously incentivize you to get very good at very specific things. And then once you're good at those things, that will help you out in the level to come. In some ways, you get progression in like different ways to move around the world, and that's cool. And like one of the cooler things is, I think this boss is called the Soul Master. You beat this boss, and then there's like a shorter second phase where it breaks through the ground, and you fall with it. And you fall with it, and after the battle, you're just kind of trapped there. But from it, you learn this ability that lets you slam the ground, and it turns out you can break things with that. And there's this one cracked bit of the level there that you have to break through in order to get to like the way to loop around. You know, back to your checkpoint. And then you've just got this one new tool that you can use to fill out more of the map. The platforming is really, like, tight and kinesthetic, in a sense. It's like, there's so much about this that like, but like specifically what I like about Hollow Knight is it's a good action platformer.
But is it better than Metroid Fusion?
I haven't played Metroid Fusion. Like, to me, Hollow Knight is the perfect Metroidvania.
Okay.
Like, specifically in the, in navigating the world, in receiving upgrades to your movement set to let you explore more, in, like, the perfect pacing. And coming up with this, with insane tech of your own that lets you do things. It's just straight up very satisfying to point your nail down at, like, spikes that would otherwise kill you, and and hit the spikes to get a little bit of a boost, so you can keep moving forward on top of the spikes. Like, all of that is great. Highly recommend Hollow Knight, and plus, it's just a ton of content for what you're paying for it. That's like $15 for... I feel like I put, like, 150 hours into this game.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's just the playthrough that I didn't lose the save for. Because I made it, like, a third of the way through, and then I lost my save. And then I played back to where I was, and I didn't even have a problem with that, because it was just more Hollow Knight to play, even if it was the same stuff that I was doing before.
One day I'll put more than 2 hours into it.
You'd better. It's a good video game.
I thought that was a threat.
Oh yeah, you'd better play it.
I'm sorry, I'm playing Atelier and Blue Reflection right now.
Atelier and Blue Reflection, or just Blue Reflection?
Just Blue Reflection.
Okay, there you go.
And Civ.
I don't have a problem with you doing that.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, my bottom right is Celeste, where Hollow Knight was my perfect Metroidvania 2D action platformer. Celeste is just like my perfect 2D platformer. Like, I would give this an easy 8 to 9 out of 10.
And it's on your 3x3.
Yes, because it's a good representation of... Like, Celeste is the perfect representation of what I want out of like, just a pure 2D platformer. You know, it's got these really intricate levels with a lot of nooks and crannies to go through, but not too much, because it's got a fun story to it. Like, fun, but also kind of painful, and... Like, people talk about how it's, people talk about how it's specifically about overcoming depression. And I can see that as the mostly intended purpose, but to me, it's just about coming to terms with what your hardships are. And then, even if you can't overcome them, or if you can't overcome them, at least not completely, you can at least, like, figure out how to deal with them. And hopefully you can make your problems work for you. You know?
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to spoil anything about it, because it does have an actually good story in the way that it does a lot of things. Like, specifically storytelling is more important in Celeste than the actual story. It does a lot with mechanics as metaphor. Like, each level represents a different part of Madeline's emotional development throughout the story. And the mechanics introduced in each level are a really good way of establishing what she's going through during the events of that level.
But is she gay?
I don't think so, but she is trans.
Only trans, not gay. Shake my head.
Yeah, I know. It is disappointing. But what can you do?
Make everyone gay.
Not everyone.
The Gayinator!
Oh, honey. Anyway, so you've got that engaging story, and you've got specifically the way each level and its mechanics that it introduces. You've got that, and the way each level's mechanics sort of make those struggles more apparent on the gameplay level. You've also just got really good, well-designed platforming. The only thing I don't like about it, gameplay-wise, is there's this one power-up that you have to use, and to get the most out of it, you have to switch from the D-pad controls to the analog controls. Like, really quickly. And it's just annoying. Because
saying is you're not good enough.
Because every single other thing in it, or in the game, is optimized around only 8 directions. Like, either... Like, you're pressing one of the 4 main D-pad buttons, or you're pressing both of them, or 2 of them, to go in a diagonal. But then that feather, that lets you go in a full circle, like more than 8 directions at least. And it feels like if they were gonna do that, then they should have given you the full range of movement with the analog controls from the very beginning. You know?
I see. What if the game was meant to be played analog from the beginning?
If it was, then they would have given you the ability to use that full range of movement from the beginning. But they don't give you that. For almost all of it, for everything you can do, you only get those 8 directions. Up, down, left, right, and then 1 in between each. So it's just... I don't know, I could see there being an argument for that, but even then...
Well,
it doesn't sit right with me.
I like the bit of Celeste that I played.
Yeah. No, the whole thing is great. It's just that one thing that is very specifically interesting to complain about.
But is it as good as Mario Odyssey?
It's better.
Whoa.
But it's also like a very different kind of game. Like, I'm not a big 3D platformer guy.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Like, Mario Odyssey is a good 3D platformer, but it's just not the kind of game that I specifically love going to. I like a good 3D platformer. I'm not gonna pick up a 3D platformer unless I'm sure already that unless I'm already certain that it's gonna be good.
Wait, so what are your opinions on Crash Bandicoot?
Very good 3D platformers.
Good. Good. Good.
Yeah.
As long as you know where you stand.
No, it's not that I dislike 3D platformers. I just don't go to them unless I'm sure that I'm going to like them. Because, like, I have a very specific way of liking 3D platformers. And not all of them do that quite right. I want to go back and play some of the classics, though.
As you should. 3D platformers, best game genre? Yes.
Yeah. So, now that we've got my 4 corners filled out, I've got... This is where we get into how they sort of interact. Because, like, top 2 are, like, the oddballs. Like, they don't really connect to anything else. But this next one does connect to both Celeste and Hollow Knight. Because in the middle of them, like right in the center, you've got like the Metroidvania-esqueness and the bosses of Hollow Knight, combined with the really beautiful mechanical and visual storytelling of Celeste. Yes, that's right. You know it. It's Bloodborne.
Blood what now?
Bloodborne.
Bloodborne?
Yeah.
Which means Sekiro?
I haven't played Sekiro.
You're breaking my heart.
Oh, look, I need to play Sekiro, but like, of the Dark Demon Blood Shadows games that I've played, Bloodborne is the best. It's a good action game. It's got great storytelling, even though, like, the story is good, but the storytelling is how it shines.
Yeah.
Like, if this story were just told to you in cutscenes, it would be a bad story.
It would be a boring story, I would say.
Yeah. A blood-boring story.
That's not a good pun.
I know.
I do love Bloodborne, though.
Yeah. Bloodborne is... It's not my favorite action RPG, but it is... Like, it plays a lot like a character action game to me.
Is it not an action RPG?
No, it is an action RPG. But to me, it plays more like a character action game.
What's the difference?
Like, I would classify a character action game as being closer to Devil May Cry. And an action RPG as being closer to Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
Like, because, like, specifically, in an action RPG, what I consider to be important is the way all of your stats interact and min-maxing things. Whereas a character action game is more specifically about learning to use the moveset that you're given.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Bloodborne, fantastic action game. Fantastic. Good RPG game. Like, I do like the RPG elements that it adds in. But they feel more, they don't feel like they're wholly necessary so much as there and also good. I also like that you get, like, a very limited set of weapons. Like, you've got... I think there's, like, 5 main weapons that you can get. And then there's...
No, there's more than that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know there's the hunter tools, but those are more like magic. Or they're treated more like it anyway.
Well, you start with 3 weapons, and then you can buy 6 more. I think there's like 15 weapons.
Yeah, but isn't it like you get the 3 main weapons, and then 3 of the other ones are, and then 3 of the others are, just, like, and the 3 of the others are just, like, straight upgrades of those.
No, none of the weapons are straight upgrades.
Oh. Huh.
Every weapon you choose is its, all the weapons you have the choice from are stand out equally. There's no weapon that's significantly better or significantly worse than the others.
Okay. Okay, okay, because I remember I started with I think the hunter axe. Or
you chose the strongest one.
Yeah. I started with the axe, and then there was another one that played just like that one, and so I switched to that.
Do you recall what that was?
I don't. Like, it had a slightly different moveset. I have to go back and replay it.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway,
in my recollection, the weapons all were different enough.
Okay. Okay. Like it... Yeah, like the choice between those 2 wasn't a difference in how I wanted to play. It was just a difference in this moveset is just better.
I mean, a level 10 weapon is just generally equally good.
Yeah. 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 Like, I'm specifically talking about the movesets that each one had. I'd have to replay it again, but maybe that praise isn't as deserved as I thought. It having, like, a small... Stop. Okay.
Everything good now, Key?
Yes. Welcome back, everybody. I'm not cutting that. I'm just gonna keep going. Anyway, Bloodborne. Good video game. I like that you have a more limited set of options in terms of what weapons you can use compared to other action games with RPG elements. Do you have more to say about Bloodborne?
Yeah, I can talk about Bloodborne. This was my first Soulsborne game.
That's a good place to start. Yeah,
I got for free on PSN Plus because I had that for a short period of time while I was working on another game. I went for the platinum on this game once I fell in love with it. Had the best time of my life. Just went through the entire game, continued and fought like every boss. Had so much fun. I bought the DLC, did a second playthrough just so I could play the DLC, so I could benefit from the DLC because it's so good. Like, this game has so many great bosses, probably some of the best of any game consistently.
I came back to the game a few months.
Yeah. Like, I came back to the game a few months ago, and I had an amazing time. I didn't get far just because I got distracted by other games that were more new and shiny. But, God, I love this game.
Yeah, I remember a while back, one of the things that I think it was... I don't know why I did this, but I went through all of the Dark Demon Blood games that I like, which was Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 3, and Bloodborne at the time.
Yeah.
And I did them with my version of a challenge run, which is probably not a challenge run, really. To beat all of them without using any of the online features.
I have a friend who just does that naturally because he's autistic, I guess, like that.
Yeah. But anyway, I went on out of my way to beat all of them without using any of the online features, which was very fun and rewarding. Like, I just didn't summon other players to help me, but I did summon other. I did summon NPCs when I felt I needed to.
Okay, I didn't do that in any of my playthroughs.
Okay.
I gotta flex those muscles.
Yeah. Like the only, like in Dark Souls 3, the only online that I did in that set of playthroughs was I went and helped other people with the Soul of Cinders.
Why the Soul of Cinder?
That's a fun. I don't really know, but like, he's a really fun boss, and so that's why.
I'll agree with that. That is fun.
Yeah. And
Dark, right?
Yeah. And I was getting summoned like every couple of minutes, like within a couple of minutes every time I put down a summon sign.
Well, I guess some people need the help.
Yeah. Yeah. I've also
Dark Souls 3 was the easiest for me.
Yeah. Dark Souls 3 did feel easy except for a few bosses.
I only struggled really with the DLC bosses, but for context, I was on New Game Plus Plus because I just finished my platinum run, and that's when I did the DLC.
Okay.
Which required 3 full playthroughs.
Okay. See, unless you're like there are like the one boss that I had issues with was the lady, the
dancer?
Yeah, the dancer of the Boreal Valley. She was very difficult for me, probably for the same reason she was difficult for everybody who had difficulty with her, and that's just that the rhythm of how she attacks is very different. Like, she attacks in a different time signature.
I loved her fight.
Oh yeah, beautiful fight. I loved how by the end of the fight, the whole area is on fire. Just naturally.
I think the hardest fight for me in DS3 before the DLC was the Forgotten King.
Oh, him. Yeah, the guy with the guy on the dragon.
Yeah, he gave me the most struggle of any boss. Him on New Game Plus Plus was the hardest boss fight of the entire, not the entire Soulsborne series, but definitely the hardest of Dark Souls 3. And definitely harder than any of the bosses in Dark Souls 1.
Okay. I've got issues with like I hate the Forgotten King for a very, very petty reason.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's got nothing to do with difficulty, even though he was a hard boss. I hate him specifically because he jossed my fan theory. Like, his existence jossed my fan theory about Solaire being Gwen's forgotten son.
I'm sorry, Key, that your fan fiction isn't true.
Yes.
Now you know how it feels to be a fan fiction writer.
I know. Like, that wasn't fan fiction. That was like a really prominent fan theory, and it was the one that made the most sense.
Did it though?
It made enough sense.
Okay. Bloodborne was cool.
Yeah, Bloodborne's cool. Play Bloodborne.
You should. If you have a PlayStation, get a PlayStation 2.
Yeah. You
want to go on to your next one?
Yes, my next one is my top middle. This is also more of an action game, but this is like the only... Okay. Well, I'm just going to announce it first. Destiny. Like, as a whole franchise.
Oh, God.
I don't...
Damn Destiny weeb.
It's not Japanese though.
Sure it isn't. Sure it isn't.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, this is the only shooter that I like. Like, specifically the only shooter that I like as a shooter. It's like, the shooting is just so satisfying for me. Like, like, everything's got, like, exactly the right amount of, like, vibration in the controller and how do I put it? And like kickback on the screen and on the and sound effects. Thanks. I love being able to see damage numbers, which like that's a really basic thing, but the Soulsborne, the Dark Demon Blood games do that too. And I always like that. I love seeing a little yellow number because I know that means I got a critical hit. Which I know is a very basic thing that a lot of games do, but this does it particularly well for some reason.
Key, let me ask you something then.
Yes.
If Call of Duty had, you know, numbers and crits when you killed someone, would you be a Call of Duty fan?
Probably not, because there's... Even though this is the only shooter that I like as a shooter, I also like it for other reasons.
I see.
For one, Destiny takes place in this crazy space fantasy world. With all kinds of very Dark Demon Blood-esque lore. Like you've got the entire history of one of the enemy factions. And like they're speaking the Hive, one of the enemy factions. Literally the default for them, or all male Hive are literally trans men, because the default for all of them is that they are born female. Or something like that.
Just like our race?
Yeah, pretty much. Not like anyway. Yeah. And through that, like it's not explored much, but like, and the entire history of the Hive explains like the species that they were before they became the Hive. It explains how Oryx, previously Orash, she and her sisters went and they did cool things on a boat and found One Piece, and One Piece was a worm that told them how to get off of their planet and make their species become strong. And
Are you sure you haven't played Halo?
Oh no, this is very, very inspired by Halo.
It's the same people.
Yeah, largely because it came from the same people who were making Halo back when it was good. And then you've got another enemy faction, which we call the Fallen, which are actually called the Elixni. And the big ball that gives us player characters our powers, it used to be their thing, and they called it the Great Machine, and their whole thing is that they worship machines, which I'm pretty sure is also literally a Halo thing, somewhere along the line.
I don't know Halo lore.
Okay. Anyway, and they have history that seems to be very similar to what happened to humanity when the Traveler went to sleep. And the Dark Ages began. All of the enemy factions, I feel, are interesting in a lot of ways that go beyond these surface level explanations.
Okay. So when are you going to play Halo?
I've played the original Halo and really liked it, and I want to play Halos 2 and 3 as well.
Do you want me to link my Steam account with you?
Eventually, maybe. We'll talk about it later. Anyway.
Eventually, he says.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, let me get back. Let me get back to Destiny. The current season. Also, raids are always really great. Always these, if not interesting, at least always creative mechanics. It's generally involving figuring out how to take down a boss's shield in order to do damage. But they all do these very interesting things. Lots of often interesting puzzle encounters and jumping mechanics, stuff like that. Speaking of which, I love the movement in both of these games. D2 is probably the best just because it has this mantle mechanic that allows for a lot of things. But they both do a lot to to me, as a Warlock main, it just feels good. I have a lot of very impressionistic things or reasons for liking this game, this franchise.
I see. But Destiny bad.
Yeah. Now, one day I will do a lecture on the lore, and everybody will appreciate how cool this lore is.
God's help me.
It's happening. It's happening, baby. Someday. Before 2025.
God's help us.
Yes.
Well, you recorded it, so now you have to do it.
Yes, before 2025. That's my deadline.
Can you believe we've been doing this for several months now?
Yeah, 3 months. Yeah, literally yesterday is 3 months of doing Rewatch First Watch. But anyway, and then the latest season in Destiny has been, to me, the epitome of what live service storytelling should be. Because it's the main deal of it is the whole idea of it is that it's we've got these ships coming to our solar system. We don't know what they want, but we're pretty sure they're the darkness. Yada, yada, yada. There's an intro mission that starts as soon as you log in that really sells the urgency of the situation. And then there's a new event in the world that you can go and do for rewards. Then a couple of weeks go by. You log in. Suddenly these pyramid ships are covering half the solar system now. They're at... Originally it was just on Io. Now it's on every other planet. And that's cool. New things are happening. New enemies are spawning. And powerful things too. There's this new quest where you have to go and prepare everybody to evacuate, and I appreciate that. And now stuff's just kind of going, and now I'm more and more convinced that, something big is happening soon. It ramps up the urgency and makes things feel... It makes things feel like they're happening in real time and not on a timetable, so to speak, you know? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Not my kind of game, though.
Oh, yeah. For this to be somebody's favorite game, they have to be a very specific kind of person.
And you're that person?
Yeah. Like, this is my... I wouldn't even say this is my favorite shooter. This is just my favorite shooter.
Wait, I thought this was the only shooter you liked.
This is the only shooter that I like as a shooter.
I hope you know how autistic that statement is.
Yeah. No, because I like BioShock better just because it has a very well-told story.
I didn't know you were a BioShock fan.
I like BioShock. Like, I want to go back and play it, but, you know.
I've been told by the people that BioShock is good.
It is good. BioShock Infinite is also fine as far as I remember, but I am not motivated to go back and play it.
I have been told by Scott it's amazing.
I have been told... Like, the more I think about going back, the more I think, I don't really feel like it.
Wow.
Yeah, but, BioShock 1 is good. I also really liked BioShock 2.
And BioShock 4?
There is no BioShock 4.
Really? I guess I did my math wrong.
Yeah, I also really liked BioShock Rapture, the book. And it's basically just Atlas Shrugged. But it takes place in a cool underwater city.
But does Atlas shrug?
No.
Sounds bad.
Yeah. But anyway, Destiny is not my favorite shooter. It's just my favorite shooter as a shooter. I like BioShock more for its story and aesthetics. I like Borderlands more for its story and humor. Even though I don't really like playing Borderlands that much.
And just to remind the audience, you put this on your 3x3 over games you like more than it.
Yes, because this is a better representation of my taste than those games that I like more.
No, I'm just reminding the audience.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I'd like to remind the audience, the purpose of my 3x3 is not to show off my favorite games, it's to show off my taste in games. Because if I were showing off just my favorite games, like half of them would be Kingdom Hearts games.
No! One game per franchise!
But then what's the point?
How do you not get it?
I just don't get it. If I'm showing off my favorite games, why would I limit it to one game per franchise? If I were showing off my favorite franchises, that would be one thing.
How do you not get it? Someone, please tell this buffoon why it makes sense.
Yes, please tell me why it makes sense.
It's too obvious, and I don't know how to explain to you in simpler terms.
Yeah. Like, even if they weren't all Kingdom Hearts games, they would all be... If this was my top 9 games, these would still all be very similar kinds of games. And that just wouldn't sit right with me because I like more kinds of games than than what is represented among my top 9 games.
I mean, I like more kinds of games than were on my 3x3 as well. But, I mean, I couldn't fit Crash Bandicoot Warped on it.
Yeah, but still. Like, what I want specifically is to show what I look for in games. Not necessarily to show what I'm... Like, I don't care so much about showing off what my favorites are because that feels boring to me.
That's the purpose of 3x3s, though.
The purpose of my 3x3s is different.
Yes, I know.
Someone will get it, I promise. Anyway...
I don't get it. I get it. I just don't like it.
Okay. Anyway, we're finally in the middle row. The middle row of games. This is like my JRPG row.
Your JPEG?
Yes, this is my JRPG row, my Japanese role-playing games row. So, let's get to... Yes.
That was robot.
Anyway, my middle left is Persona 5. We talked about this kind of on your 3x3, Lumia.
Kind of. We talked about all the good parts. Persona 5 Royal is the better version. Anyone who likes Persona 5 instead of Persona 5 Royal is a cuck.
Well, maybe, but also, I haven't played Persona 5 Royal.
Cuck.
I've just played the original Persona 5, and all I know about Persona 5 Original is that it's fucking great. Movement, fantastic. What's it called? Style, fantastic. Aesthetics, fantastic. Music, excellent.
It's definitely better than Persona 4.
No. Style, fantastic. Music, fantastic. Even though there's some tracks on Persona 5 Royal that I like more than Persona 5.
It's okay to know that Royal's the better version of the game.
Yeah. The OP of the original is better than the OP of Royal.
Look, you got one thing over us. One thing!
And also, there's just a much more pure min-maxing aspect to Persona 5 Original. At least from what I've heard about P5R.
Look, we got a better ending than you.
Look, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, I know. Just saying.
Okay. Yeah, like, I love the way that it's a turn-based game, but just for whatever reason, all of the menus feel just kinetic enough to me that it reads like an action game. You know what I mean?
No, the UI is incredible.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, so it reads like an action game, even though I know and I can see on the screen that it's a turn-based game. So perfect turn-based combat in that sense. It does the Persona thing with turn-based combat where you get an extra turn on by hitting weaknesses. And it's just, for me, it was just really fun to min-max every single little thing so that I can just blow through the whole game on New Game Plus with one Persona. That was really fun. Yeah.
Well, good for you.
Yes. Anyway, finally, no, not finally. Next up, this is going to be a controversial take.
You put Destiny here.
No. This is even more controversial because, like, the people who like Destiny still really like Destiny. The people who like Final Fantasy are very split on Final Fantasy 12.
Oof.
Yeah, like, I feel like this is controversial because people just don't get what kind of game Final Fantasy 12 is. They want to blow through it. Like, what they want is a traditional JRPG where they can play through it and get like give commands to every character, blah blah blah, do all of that shit manually. That's not what it is. Final Fantasy 12 is a JRPG. It is a turn-based ATB sort of game, but it's also a programming game. The core appeal of Final Fantasy 12 is specifically the fact that you can code through. You're essentially just doing this really long and complex system of if-then statements that then result in all of the characters just doing exactly what your strategy is in every situation, and then all you have to do is make little adjustments here and there. And if you're playing the game well, like, Final Fantasy XII is all about preparing exactly what the strategy is going to be and then watching it play out.
You might like Dragon Age Origins.
Maybe.
That's the gameplay of Origins.
Okay. Like, you go into a main...
Origins does it better.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was significantly more engaging.
Okay. Well, it's a good thing there's more things that I like about Final Fantasy XII. Because the gambits are just one part of the game. And even though the story of Final Fantasy XII is not the best story in Final Fantasy...
I mean, there's a million good Final Fantasy stories, so whatever people pick, you know.
There's only 15 Final Fantasy games, honey.
15's a million. Look, some of them have sequels.
Okay, Boomer. Anyway.
There's Final Fantasy 2 Part 2.
Okay. Anyway, even though the story of Final Fantasy XII is not as good as some others, I still really enjoy it. And here's why. Vaughn gets a lot of shit for seeming like a shoehorned in main character, and he was. Like, the development history of the game proves that he was just shoehorned in order to be a relatable main character, or a relatable viewpoint character. And everybody says, no, Balthier's the main character. No. And, by the way, he's not the main character. No, Ash is the main character. And Ash, she is the main character. Her arc is specifically that she wants to protect her people. She cares, because, like, she had to go into hiding. She's made to feel weak. Because she can't make her people, the people of Dalmasca, she can't get them back to their former glory. She can't overcome the Empire by herself. And she feels like she needs to be strong. And her arc is learning to be strong in many different ways. But also, Vaughn is crucial to her arc as a character, because what Vaughn represents in her story is the people that she's trying to protect. Vaughn is himself a Dalmascan. And Vaughn is one of the people that Ash has sworn herself to lead and protect and save. And yet it's his job to protect her as she's going throughout her journey. And that's a big source of insecurity for Princess Ash. And that's... Yeah. And so a big part of that is, in addition to learning to be strong enough in the way that she needs to be strong in order to rescue her people, she also needs to learn to accept that there are ways in which she needs to be protected by her people. Mm. And that's why I think Vaughn gets a bad rap in Final Fantasy XII.
I think we should kill Vaughn.
No. If we're gonna kill... If there's any character that is, like, completely superfluous to Final Fantasy XII, it's Penelo.
Who?
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, here's one thing. At least you didn't pick the wrong Final Fantasy game to put here.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 13.
Or 1 through 3.
No, 1 is good. The PSP remake of 1 is good.
I'll believe you on that one, but the NES one? No. You can quote me on that, Nexus. I hate it. I hate those 3 games.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, they are not good games on the NES. Like, I didn't even like Final Fantasy II on the Game Boy Advance.
Final Fantasy II is the best of the trilogy.
Okay.
Because it has the best plot of any of the three games.
Yeah. But anyway, Final Fantasy XII, good game. Give it another try. I dare you, coward. Next. Finally, my number 1 game, the other of the 2 games that I've given a 10 out of 10 to.
Spire.
You know it. You love it. Everybody loves it. It's everybody's favorite video game of all time. Best game ever in the history of the universe. It's better than Crash Bandicoot. It's better than Final Fantasy 7 or 12 combined. It's more complex than Hollow Knight and Bloodborne put together. It's a JRPG. It's at the intersection of Persona 5, Final Fantasy 12, Destiny, and Bloodborne. What could be at the center of these? What has everything that I like about all of these games? All 4 of my side game. All 4 of my my middle sides games. I'll tell you. It's Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix Plus, baby!
I never would have guessed that KeybladeSpirit was a Kingdom Hearts fan.
Yeah. It's a good video game. It's got that progression system of Hollow Knight. It's got that slick movement of Celeste. It's got that AI customization of Final Fantasy XII, even though it doesn't go quite as far with it. People make jokes that Donald won't heal you. He will heal you. You just have to set his AI to heal you.
I did, and he still didn't heal me.
There's a menu for that, damn it.
He never healed me.
You did it wrong. You're bad at Kingdom Hearts.
No, you're bad at Kingdom Hearts.
You're worse at Kingdom Hearts. Anyway, it's got that min-maxing of Persona 5. and it's got the lore and like just the general action feel of Destiny. Like Kingdom Hearts doesn't really have shooting that much.
Hey,
like it's
what?
got Kingdom Hearts 2 doesn't really have that much shooting. Like you've got Wisdom Form, but that's not really shooting, you know?
What do you shoot with, your Keyblade?
Yeah. Yeah, that's Wisdom Form.
God fucking damn it. Why do I ask these questions?
You know, it's a You've played Kingdom Hearts 2, haven't you?
Yeah, I beat it.
Yeah, did you never use any drive forms?
I used the one where you dual wield Keyblades.
There's 2 of those. No, there's 3 of those actually.
I did the one where you flew.
Yeah, that's that's final form. But you have to have used at least one of the other forms in order to get that one.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay. Guess I did.
Okay. But
I don't remember.
You never used Wisdom Form?
Is that the one where you wear white armor?
No, that's the blue one.
No. I didn't use magic much.
Okay. Well, try it. You shoot with it.
Look, I stopped playing when I got to level 80 when I was trying to grind for the data fights and got bored.
You would have been able to use Wisdom Form by then.
I got bored. Grinding's not fun. It's boring.
You could have just tried it.
Magic's lame.
I mean, yes, but also, and we're getting off topic. Kingdom Hearts 2, good video game. Movement progression, good like Hollow Knight. Action, good like Bloodborne and Destiny. Min-maxing, good like Persona 5.
I have a question for you,
and strategizing slash AI customization, good like Final Fantasy 12. What is your question?
If you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, does that make you Luffy or Xehanort?
It makes me both.
Okay.
Yes. Wait, why did you say Luffy?
Because that's the protagonist's name.
No, the protagonist in Kingdom Hearts is Sora.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Positive?
Positive.
I don't believe you.
I've played all 13 of these games.
There's 13 of these games? I thought there was 3.
No, there's Kingdom Hearts 1. Then Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories.
That's not 2.
Let me finish. Then Kingdom Hearts V-Cast, which is thankfully non-canon. And then...
What have I done to myself?
Then Kingdom Hearts 2. Then Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Kingdom Hearts 358 Days Over 2. Kingdom Hearts Recoded. Who did? Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance. Kingdom Hearts Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep 0.2 A Fragmentary Passage. Kingdom Hearts what's it called? Kingdom Hearts Kingdom Hearts Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, that's aka formerly Kingdom Hearts Key. Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh, thank God.
Kingdom Hearts Dark Road.
Oh, God.
And the 13th upcoming game, Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memories.
Well, now I quickly want to kill myself.
Yes, and that's going to be the last game in the series, because 13 is an important number in the series, and Nomura is too galaxy-brained to it's going to keep going.
If one's not canon, he's probably not counting that.
That's true. But even so, there are 13 Kingdom Hearts games.
Well, now that I know more things about Kingdom Hearts than I ever wanted to know, help.
Yes. Anyway, do you have anything to say specifically about Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix?
Yes. It's a game that I played.
Anything else?
No. I liked Luffy.
Luffy is One Piece, dear.
One Piece, Kingdom Hearts. They're both the same thing.
No, they're not.
They're both liked by the best guy ever, thus making them the same thing.
Yeah, and if two things are the same, that means they're real.
No. Kingdom Hearts isn't real.
Yes, it is. It's the same as One Piece, which means that these two things are the same.
One Piece isn't real.
And that means they're both real.
No, Key, if Kingdom Hearts is real, that makes you a ghost.
Yes.
Does that make you somebody's nobody or a shadow?
That makes me a disembodied heart in the final world.
Yeah, this conference is way too much for me. I'm out of here.
No, literally.
I'm out of here. I'm getting out of here. Fuck all of you.
No, literally. There is literal. No, this is one of the funniest things leading up to Kingdom Hearts 3, and one of the best meta jokes in the entire series. In an interview leading up to Kingdom Hearts 3, Nomura said that the final world in Kingdom Hearts 3 was something that he's been wanting to do in a video game since he was working on Final Fantasy VII. And so people thought, oh, cool. The final world in Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be really cool and awesome, and it's going to be the culmination of Nomura's entire career. Turns out he wasn't talking about the actual final world in Kingdom Hearts 3. He was actually talking about a world called the Final World. In Kingdom Hearts 3, which is which is literally just the afterlife, which is why it's called the Final World.
This is too much for me. I'm leaving. Goodbye, everyone. Like and subscribe. I'm going to go do something non-autistic.
Yeah, but also Kingdom Hearts 2.9 was a good meme.
Help me.
Bye.
Like and subscribe. Bye.